Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello.
Sir. Is it audible, sir?
Not
Okay.
audible, audible. Thank you very much. Audible, audible.
A very good evening to one and all. The galaxy of intellectuals, invited guests, teachers, and my dear friends, on behalf of our management and BLDE University, we cordially invite you to this program hosted by our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. M.B. Patil, to honor postgraduate students and express the gratitude for the dedication, compassion, and courage shown during COVID-19 pandemic. On On this occasion, we have among us Dr. M.B. Patil, Chancellor, BLDE University, our guest of honor, Dr. Vivek Jawali, renowned cardiothoracic surgeon, chairman, cardiac sciences, and the Executive Council of Fortis Hospitals, Bangalore. Dr. R.S. Mudol, Vice Chancellor, BLDE University. Dr. J.G. Ambekar, Registrar, BLDE University. Dr. Arvind Patil, Principal, Shri V.M. Patil Medical College, Hospital and Research Center. Dr. Arun C. Inamdar, Dean, Faculty of Allied Sciences. Dr. R.M. Onnutigi, Medical Superintendent, Shri B.M. Patil Medical College, Hospital and Research Center, and also heads of various departments. On this day, we have Dr. Vivek Jawali to address the gathering, and it's our pleasure to introduce such an eminent personality.
Hello. Some of the great feats are accomplished by the people smart to understand that nothing is impossible. And today we are having such a noble personality, Dr. Vivek Jawali sir, uh, who is passed his MBBS from MRMC Gulbarga in 1975 and bagging first rank and gold medal in surgery. He was also awarded Best All Outgoing Student of that year. He did his MS from JJM Medical College, Davargiri. He developed his peripheral vascular and aortic surgery skills there. Recognizing his talent, a government of Karnataka invited him to shoulder the responsibility of establishing Jayadeva Institute of Cardiology. Undeterred by the hurdles of his passion, Helford lead us a solid foundation of one of the finest cardiac institute of India. Fueled a revolutionary change in the health center landscape of the Karnataka and triggered a new era of healthcare activities in the Karnataka. Being a restless innovator, his quest for breaking through has been persistent through the years, and he has developed the pioneer of beating heart bypass surgery, and fruits of which are visible today. He was the president of Indian Association of Cardiothoracic Surgeons in 2008. He is a council member of Asian Society of Cardiovascular and Thoracic Surgery, and he has been the vice president of Indian College of Cardiology. He is found member of International Society of Minimal Invasive Cardiac Surgeons. He is the only Indian who an editorial board of innovation in cardiothoracic surgery. He has received Lifetime Achievement Award from Medical Excellence in India from Harvard University, USA. He has received Dr. B.C. Roy Award. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? Thank you all. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. The president of BLD, the office bearers of BLD, the faculty of the college, the students, ladies and gentlemen. At the onset, let me congratulate all you PG students and other students who have been the main shoulders of the COVID war of the BLD in Bijapur, and you have done an excellent job. So I think that this is something which will be always going down in the chronicles and the history of BLD University. Congratulations once again to you all. The pandemic has come, pandemic has tortured us, pandemic will go. You will pass, you will go out of BLD, you will get on with your life. Most of your steps. If you go out, you want to do a super specialization, you want to look for another seat, job, all those things are fairly straightforward. 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm not going to be talking on those issues on which you guys are pretty smart yourself. We will talk about your life from now on. How do you not remain another mediocre specialist? How do you make a mark in your life? And they say that this is only one life, but if you live it well, one life is enough. The, uh, the end of my MS, I remember I saw around me a huge disruption. When I was finishing my MS, we never had computers. I used to go and stand for a number call in the in the post office. We never had this mobile phone. Everything was very different. I never knew that the world was going to disrupt hugely, and I will have to do a lot of relearning. And then came the computer, the softwares, the mails, and everything changed. The endoscopies, the digital telephony, the digital printing, everything changed. You guys, when I look at you, I had told once in the past for the undergrad students that you guys also now, from that time to now, 30, 40 years later, I see there's another inflection point coming in the human history. The four technologies, the genetics, the robotics and telerobotics, the artificial intelligence, what you call as the information sciences, the artificial intelligence, and the nanotechnology. All these are going to cascade into medicine, and everything is going to change, and you will end up doing a lot of relearning, lot of flexibility, adaptability will be required. So get geared, and it's a very exciting age. It's nice to be actually born as a specialist today because so much of a huge menu is going to open in the future. There is a book that I had read. It's called The Blue Ocean and the Red Ocean. The Red Ocean is an ocean where there are a lot of sharks full of blood. It's the area of too much of competition. And if you end up in a red ocean, you are going to have a very difficult life. Blue ocean is an ocean where there are no sharks, a lot of opportunities, serene azure blue water, maybe a small island there where you have set up a kitchen, there is a small place where you go drink, come back, swim, you enjoy your life. Blue ocean in medicine is an area of niche. This green technologies is going to open a long list of niche areas for those who have vision, whose eyes are open, whose ears are open, who are brave to take chances. And so you must remember that I am going to pioneer many areas. I am going to land up as one of the earliest in all these niche opportunities. You will live a good life. With that opening, these green areas is a good news and a bad news. The good news is that the menu is going to be too long. Menu for career opportunities, business opportunities, opportunity to create something new, lot of opportunities. The bad news is that unlike in the past, unlike in your teachers' lives, it is going to demand you to be very flexible, all the time extremely inquisitive, knowing everything that's happening around you. You can't be laying back. Medicine is going to be all the time like fluid, changing, changing, changing. So you will have to be very proactive. And everything that you do this year, if next year also you are doing the same thing, there's something wrong with you, and you are going to be walked over by a lot of people who are junior to you, and you are going to fall behind. If you want to remain Amitabh Bachchan, you have to be very flexible, very adaptive, and every year you will be doing things a little differently, and then you are in tune with time. The times are going to be so different that if you have 4 siblings in the house, there's going to be a generation gap between the elder brother and the youngest brother or youngest sister. Forget about the generation gap between you and your parents. So you have to be very smart, very adaptable, changing all the time. I have one advice for you, that check that do you have anger problems? Do you have always somebody says some new idea and always your first reaction is no, it cannot be done. What's my point? My point is today personality disorder is the biggest hindrance for somebody to progress in life. Check, because today the professionals are so cutting edge that if you feel that no, I have a personality disorder and that will come in your way, correct it now, because there are lots of people who can help you in a very cutting edge fashion, especially those psychiatrists, psychologists who are Great Britain returned. They are very practical and very modern. This is a very important advice. Many of you might sneer at it, but remember, this will be the biggest enemy. Attitude I have seen in my life, and when I choose somebody for a job, somebody my junior, somebody comes for training program, fellowship, I feel that attitude is more important than talent. The famous story of Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli. All of you know that. Vinod Kambli was a better batsman, more talented, more swashbuckling, more aggressive. He was a terrific batsman. Sachin Tendulkar and he were good friends, contemporaries, and look where Sachin went. Look where Vinod Kambli went into dump and disappeared and had a very bad, pathetic end. The difference between two of them was the attitude. There is a saying that desire for discipline is beginning of wisdom. You have come at this age now. At this age, if you start desiring discipline, this is the beginning of your wisdom. And your wisdom, your self-discipline, your unconscious capability to work hard, not to say that, oh, my time is over, my duty is over, and go spill into the middle of the night, late night. This is going to differentiate you from others, and this will make sure that you won't end up as a mediocre. Attitude is more important than talent. Talent will take you knowledge, skill, talent will take you to phase 1, phase 2. Phase 3 and phase 4 is attitude, attitude, attitude. Now is the high time, actually they should have done it much before. It's a high time for you to decide your goals. All of you know what you don't like. That's not a great thing because it's all common. Very few of you know what you like. If by now you figure out what you like, you're fallen in love with something, then God only knows where you will go. So now is the time to figure out what's your focus. Your focus, what you want to do is like deciding to marry. Either you do a love marriage or you do an arranged marriage. Whatever you do, you have to commit. Love marriage, there's no problem. You're fallen head over heels, and most of the time it sticks. Like you fell in love with urology, plastic surgery, you love with nephrology, cardiology, it will stick because you're fallen in love at this age. If not, decide whatever logic, take it and then stick to it like an arranged marriage. And then also it will make sure that you reach a distance in life. Another thing is what we call as the finishing school. The young girls in the olden times, they finish the school, finish their early college, and the parents will say, you marry now. It was a habit in higher societies, in bigger cities, all over the world, in the Western world. They used to send the girls for a finishing school because then she's a different person. The same way you doctors, whatever specialty, undergrad, going into GP, not going to do specialization, GP is a evergreen, it's a Devanand. It will never go down that GP thing. It is going to only shine in the future because we have done enough mistakes as a country and we are going to rediscover general practice. We are going to make it great. Whatever specialization, you must have a finish. What do you mean by finish? There are certain areas nobody teaches you, or they make a drama of teaching you. Communication. How do you communicate? Nobody teaches you. So whether if there are some courses, good. Otherwise, use your common sense. Today, unlike my time, you have the internet. It's so easy. There are so many YouTube, so many programs, lingophone, communication, and management. Management, everything today is a science. How money. Most of you, nobody has taught you money. Just because you came from a good business family, you may have that sense of thinking big, you may understand money, but majority of you are not, especially the merit students. They would have come from middle class, they would have no background. Suddenly somebody says, take this budget of 100 crores and do this job. They will foam at the mouth. No, you must, this is the time to understand negotiation. Negotiation is a science. If you don't learn now, just read. There is a volumes of a book called the Essential Manager by Time Life Publications. And there are some 22 or 28 small volumes. In that one volume is negotiation. Each human resource management, finance management, how do you do PR, how do you build your brand, everything is a science. If you don't learn, tomorrow some chutku small junior MBA will buy you cheap for his hospital company. So basic management is your job. Nobody's going to teach you. How do you learn? There are 1,000 ways of skinning a cat. So communication and basic management. Then how do you write a paper? I don't know whether anybody teaches you how to write paper or not, but it's your quest. There are some people who have this kid of paper writing and they're damn good paper writers all the time writing paper. I see in BLD, your skin and BD department, there are some departments in biochemistry, microbiology, a lot of papers are coming out. There'll be one or two guys who are very good in paper writing. Catch hold of them, stick to them, moonlight with them, but learn how do you write a paper. Now there is, you're never shy of asking. You are a student, you are very junior. When you become professor, you start getting shy, your ego comes in the picture. So paper writing, once you learn the knack, it's so easy because all you need is the data. And if you have got a habit of having a logbook of yours, you are a urology surgeon, you are a gastroenterology surgeon, you are a laparoscopic surgeon, and you are daily keeping one 15 minutes and filling up your data, and whatever 2-3 operations you have done, you have a logbook. At the end of 10 years, you will have so much of data of yourself. And paper writing is very easy. But if you aim that I will write at least 2 papers a year, enough, because 2 papers you can concentrate, don't write cheap papers, and they will get published in an index journal. And that makes a lot of difference because writing papers, giving valuable talks, podium talks, preliminary talks, it is the best brand elevating exercise for yourself rather than all the cheap media, etc. So paper writing, and then managing online space. Once upon a time, people sneered at somebody who was very active on social media, social platforms. No, that's good. You must be there. And there are so many groups which are professional groups, and you must be part of them. I'll tell you an example how this is not a cheap thing. I'm on Facebook, all cardiac surgeons of India on Facebook. Many years ago, almost 8 or 9 years ago, we got together and we thought that let's make a Facebook page of Indian Association of Cardiac Surgeons. I was the president, 2008. And we created a Facebook page of Indian Association of Cardiac Surgeons, IACTS. And then people started chatting on that. And almost within a very short time, we had 1,800 members. And the group was called as Cardiac Surgeons Practicing in India. That means a cardiac surgeon in America, Canada, Australia, UK, he's an Indian from Bombay or Bangalore, he's not allowed because what he's doing is not always practicable. And he may be in a very hi-fi center. So they may disorient our guys, and we didn't allow them inside. Just Indians practicing in India. Now, there are people who are practicing in Davangere, who's practicing in Belgaum. There are now cardiac surgeons doing cardiac surgery in Gulbarga. The same way in Andhra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, there are so many people in periphery who are doing cardiac surgery. They are solo surgeons. They have no departmental backing for them. Any tricky case comes, they get into problem. Who's going to talk to them? A case comes in my department, we all sit together, brainstorm. A case comes in AIMS, case comes in PGI. There's a lot of intellectual discussion, and by the next day morning when the patient is on table, the idea is very clear, all the troubleshooting is expected, and things are very clear. Everybody from the peripheries or even bigger departments, some very difficult, challenging cases, they started pouring those cases onto the Facebook. Within 3-4 hours, senior people like Cherian, Girinath, all of us, Naresh Trihan, all of us started responding to them. And in 4-5 hours, that guy there has a huge advantage of having had a big departmental discussion. Next day morning, his brain is very clear, his ideas are very clear. And the patient has a totally free of cost advantage of such a departmental backing. So if you are limited only by your imagination. So online and media skills are very equally important. Media tomorrow, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, whether it is print media, you must know how to handle this media when you become senior. A lot of people make such a poor show of themselves. No, and you can always catch hold of somebody, or there may be even small courses I see in Bangalore, media management for doctors. And how do you appear? How do you respond? How do you talk? All these are important. Nobody will teach you, and that will make a difference between you and the rest of them. Then another thing is your future. Unlike the past people, is going to be full of legal hassles. People are now itching to sue a doctor. There are now a lot of jobless lawyers. These lawyers find that there is a lot of money in this area. And anytime a patient dies or he gets a bad complication, the lawyers actually chase out because they are watching, and they will go and suggest them that you don't have to spend money. I will take care of all the paperwork. You file a case in consumer court or the criminal court or the civil court. And when you get a compensation, you have to give me this much percent. Some of them are so greedy, they ask 50%. But you are going to face this. Right now, you have to develop this habit of documentation and communication. Every time, documentation, documentation, documentation. Nobody knows, all your hospital managers, your seniors. A lot of people may be very busy with your own thing. Tomorrow, when your neck goes onto a lawsuit, it's a big torture going to the court. Money will be spent like water. But the courts are not here to punish you. The courts are here to only see whether there was a gross negligence or gross lack of knowledge, gross ignorance. Otherwise, that they don't care. Somebody says, "No, you should have been done like that." But then there are 2, 3 different controversies in the literature, and the literature says that it could be done either like that or like this, and the court has no problem. They said, "Oh, that's a controversy. That is none of our business." If your documentation is clear, and if your communication is clear with the patient attenders right from beginning, first of all, nobody will sue you. Communication is a prevention, but the treatment will be a ready documentation, because of the same day, the case sheet will be taken away by the record department, and that will be Xerox. And at least in good hospitals, you will have no more possibility of playing with the documentation in that case sheet. So learn this habit in the childhood: documentation and communication with the patients. In the future, you will be all the time retraining yourself. The world is going to be very fluid technologically. Now onwards, medicine is going to be technology, technology, technology. You like it, don't like it. It's going to be expensive, like it, don't like it. And you will be all the time retraining yourself. It's a path of constant self-retraining from now on. You might have been spoon-fed till now. Majority of you are. Now on, that is gone. I'll tell you an example of my own college days. I studied my cardiac surgery in KM, IMCH. KM was a huge department, which was extremely honored department of India, because in the 70s and 80s, Bombay was there and rest of India was here, and I was in the best of Bombay. My teachers had no time for us. My boss was the dean of the college, also was the head of the Bombay Corporation's healthcare services. He was the president of Indian Association of Cardiac Surgeons, and he had a lot of things. The other guy, Dr. Sharad Pandey, who is the father of this actor Chunky Pandey, he had lots of things to do. Nobody came and taught us. No bedside clinics, nothing. Everything was directly on the table. And many times on the table, he would come, he would assist me for a short time. Somebody called me, call him, he'll go. If I make a mistake, then they will fry me. So we started, we all guys, the seniors, my batch, juniors, we got together and we said, let's self-train ourselves. So every Sunday was a free day. We were not operating. We were given some other duties, but we will, while doing that, one person will come, present the case, or do a seminar on a particular subject, or present a journal club. And all of us will fry that guy together. And we would start from a very simple thing, like opening the chest, closing the chest, or even putting an aortic cannula, venous cannulas, and we will fry them. We taught each other. We were not waiting for our teachers. Sometimes they listened, they heard about it, they come. These classes became so famous in Bombay that people from JJ, etc., started coming and attending us. One of the JJ boys who never missed our Sunday class, Suresh Rao, today is one of the top pediatric cardiac surgeons of the country, and he heads the Reliance setup in Kokila setup in Bombay. But to cut the story short, the guys who came out of this self-training furnace, Dr. K.R. Balakrishna. K.R. Balakrishna does 2/3 of India's heart and lung transplant today. He's in Chennai. Dr. Anmoy Mule, he was the first guy he was our junior. He was the first guy to do Bombay's heart transplant. Bombay never did heart transplant so late. And he does probably the number 2 heart transplants in the country. Then Jagdish Sinha was from Bihar. He was a backward class guy. That guy climbed up to become the DGHS, Director General of Health Services of India. There was one Khande Pakar who became the India's first PhD in cardiac surgery. There was a guy called Tendulkar, my senior. Today, he is the most popular cardiac surgery teacher in demand, both in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Everybody is calling him. Then there was one Dr. Pramod Mittal, who was my junior, my houseman. Pramod Mittal became the chairman of the SGPGI in Lucknow. And then there was Dr. Joshi. Joshi is now #1 surgeon of Bombay, mostly highly skilled and extremely successful in Bombay. So my point is that don't wait for somebody to teach you, and then be focused on working at places of large patient pool. Now, when you get out of here, don't run for a job that will pay you. I know you are in love or your marriage is fixed. You may have to have your children, whatever it is. You have decided that you are going to be a specialist. There is a next 7 or 8 years, there's going to be pain. And these 7 or 8 years of pain will give you a fantastic life later on. Take that pain. So when you pass, don't run behind money. Go for a job in a place where there's a lot of action going on. Too many patients, too many operations if you're a surgical guy. And in such a place, what happens? Everybody's tired. And people actually push operations on each other. I was doing cardiac surgery residency in Bombay, but then I was all the time moonlighting. I was one post I did in Sion, and Sion had a Bombay's trauma center. Trauma center in Bombay, and your Dharavi slum is next to you. The amount of trauma that comes to the hospital is unimaginable. In one night, there will be 7 or 8 craniotomies. In one night, there will be 8 or 9 laparotomies. And if I'm hanging around, I have no work in my cardiac surgery department. People would say, "You karega kya craniotomy, karega kya laparotomy." I would operate whole night and then go in my OT in the morning. But in that 6 months, I did less cardiac surgery because the department was not so good. But I became a great general trauma surgeon. So, submit yourself to be a cheap slave in a center where there is a huge amount of patient turnover. It's very important. Don't bother about money at that time, because this will give you a fantastic foundation, lot of clinical base, and then your intuition, your wisdom will grow very fast, because that makes you different from anybody else. A wise surgeon or a physician with intuition and clinical judgment, clinical intuition won't come unless you have a massive exposure. Faster it happens in your life, better it is. Then this, as I told you, specialties are fluid, they are ever changing. So in the future, when you rise, you become an associate professor, you become an assistant professor, you are independently operating, or you are independently running OPDs, or running dialysis center, cath lab, you are doing independently coronary angiograms and PCIs, angioplasties, stuff like that. At that time, you have to understand that you have to now get married to one focused area. Say you are a cardiologist. Am I going to become a specialist of aorta? Am I going to specialist of transcatheter valves and even putting mitral clip and repairing transcatheter mitral valves? Am I going to become a peripheral vascular specialist? You could pick up your area. And once you pick up your area, decide where real action is going on across the globe. It's not at all a bad idea. You will get sponsorship. You can get sponsorship in multiple pieces from multiple places, people. In the beginning of your career, whatever you earn, put back. I put back a lot of my own money in my self-training and go to places like that where a lot of action is going on. And my trick was, I never worked abroad. I never was in America or England or Australia. All my friends were there. I came to Bangalore. I have created Jayadeva. I had so much operations I was doing. I thought it was silly for me to be going to US where I'll be holding retractors for somebody. And then I decided that I don't need all that. I needed to do 2 things. A, I should not be getting scared of big people. A. B, whatever papers I read in a journal, those guys have toiled for 7 or 8 years to get that experience, create that pool of patients, and then they will struggle 1 year to write that paper. Then when that paper goes to the bureaucracy of that journal, it will wait another 1 year for peer review, these, that, alana, falana, and then 10th year that patient paper may publish, and you read. What you are reading is 10 years old knowledge. But if I decide that I want to concentrate, say I'm a cardiac surgeon, you do cardiac surgery MCS tomorrow, and you decide that I'm going to go to thoracic and I'm going to excel in VATS, video assisted thoracic surgery, and especially the uniportal video assisted thoracic surgery. Where is it happening more? I had a guy from Ahmedabad, Priyank, and Priyank said, I will excel in, and we created a team, and he said, everybody will be a sharp sword in 111 specialty. So Priyank, you want to do what? Okay. Then I had a friend in Hong Kong University called Cleo. Cleo was doing the cutting work of these VATs, but then China took over Hong Kong, and Chinese built ambitiously a huge Shanghai Thoracic Institute in Shanghai. And they told Cleo, he's a Chinese Christian, that you will jump between Shanghai and Hong Kong, and you will run 15 days flights. And Cleo did that. Cleo told me that they are doing really fantastic work in Shanghai, and there's a Spanish guy from Barcelona who also comes there. I told Priyank, you go there. And just for 15 days, hospital also allowed me. We got him some sponsorship. He spent some of his own pocket money. Do you know, in Shanghai, per day, they do 55 VAT surgeries, video assisted lobectomies, video assisted segmentectomies, 55 per day. In 1 week, this guy was burping, his stomach was full. He said, I'm now time passing, sir, I want to come back. I said, wait, develop network, create friendship, then you come back. Because when you come back, we will do a weekend workshop on this thing, what you have learned, and we will call the chest physicians of Bangalore that we are going to have some cutting edge guy, Cleo, coming here. He is going to do these segmentectomies, etc. So they will send us patients. And in 2 days, we'll do 10, 12 cases. There, the entire team will get exposed to it. You will be far more lubricated. And that guy will go back. But then the pool, maybe there are 40 cases. After he goes back next 2-3 days, we'll finish all those cases. At the end of this workshop, you will be born as a VATS guy. Same way, you guys, with your assistant professor, associate professor, don't rub people on wrong side. Have your independence. Be sweet to everybody. Let people allow you that freedom. And do this. Decide that I am a urology surgeon. I am a plastic surgeon. And I will decide that every year I will learn 2 procedures. And every year you will see on the horizon, multiple new procedures are getting born. Among them, some procedures are all like a small-time romance. They will come, they will shine, they will go. And you can make out that is all me too. But there will be some procedures which will be going on to more patient-friendly routes. They will be applicable to masses. You know, there's a promise. When we did the India's first beating heart bypass in 1991. Everybody laughed. It looked like a very silly surgery. But we knew that this is a patient-friendly road, cheaper, applicable to all bypass surgeries, and it will create a massive movement. 5-6 years we struggled to convince people. Today, 75% of India's surgery is off-pump beating bypass surgery. So like that, every year, 2 surgeries. So you search where it is done maximum, who is the master, go there. I used to do that. For my minimally invasive surgery of coronary bypass surgery, which I did first time in India in 1995, 2 years before that, 2 people had started doing it in the world as a beginner. One was Dr. Subramanian at the Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, and Dr. Antonio Maria Calafiori in Chieti in Italy. But actual surgery was really championed in Argentina and Brazil, but they were very crude. These guys were refined. I went to Italy. I spent a week with him. I came back. I called him. We did a workshop. And that was the first even exposure to Indians that such a thing exists, the minimally invasive coronary bypass surgery. We did our first surgery in 1995 December. Within 2 years, whole India was doing it. We trained everybody. So many people came to us. So every year, you go somewhere, see how they do. You may not have license, you may not be able to assist. Doesn't matter. You are already a surgeon. You know the steps. All you need is the steps. The physicians in you apply to your specialty what I'm talking. And don't go and club in the night or go to the bars in the night. Stay back. Look how the patient behaves post-operatively. Talk to the nurses. Talk to the juniors. There may be people who are enemies of that guy. They will be always criticizing him. Talk to them, because this guy will only tell you the gloss. The creases and warts and moles, they will tell you. Learn all that. Read. Come back. Start doing. And you will do some screw-ups. You will have your questions. Call that guy. Do a workshop, as I told you. Have 40 cases. Everybody will refer you cases because a master is coming. And then you will be born. and you have so much of volume here. In 2 years, you will be eyeball to eyeball with that guy in that area. And you are doing this to 2 procedures every year. Imagine what happens to you after 10 years. What kind of specialist you will be. This is how you self-train. Don't say, I'll go work in America for 2 years in a fellowship, go to Toronto, go to Melbourne. Okay, fine. If you get a chance, do it. But remember that don't get cowed down because I worked with Tyron David in Toronto and that guy is so big that when I come back, I start becoming a parrot of Tyron David. And I think whatever Tyron David says is the last word and everybody is a fool. No, go to All India Institute. They all think that their particular specialty, that's all. The rest of India is such a foolish thing. No, don't let you become that. So if you want to go do fellowship, go, but don't get cowed down by big guys. Don't get cowed down by the black and white in the books. Keep your open mind. Open mind. There is a sentence I read in Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. It really impressed me. It says, open mind is like the pond of the softest water, where a ripple created by a bird flying low is sure to reach the shore. Keep an open mind. Then you will be very creative. Then you will come out with out-of-box ideas. Then you will create niche areas. Then you will be a founder, a pioneer. You will be in a very different kind of a bracket. So, self-training. So 2 procedures a day, and then keep a logbook. As I told you again, I repeat, keep a logbook. Once you have a logbook, you have your own data. That is your best PR. That is your best branding way. And you can create papers like that. And if you have at this time, infancy of your career, learn how to write papers, be a cheap slave, write papers for your bosses, your seniors, your colleagues, and refine that art. So you will be writing papers so easily all the time. All you need is per day, you offer yourself 1 hour. You don't, this 1 hour will be for you to go through your own data, to write papers, to go through literature, do all these things. And if you do that all the time, 10 years later, you will have such a brilliant CV. Not only CV, but your name will be going in the eyes of people across the globe because it's an index journal and you will be cited in so many articles. Apart from you, imagine what it does to your department. Apart from your department, imagine what it does to your institution. And imagine what it does to your standing in the institution or your state or your country. So these have got very untold cascading effects. And another thing is, don't wait for an opportunity. I don't have, I'm in BLD, I'm in Davangere. No, I want to go there. I want to, or you ended up in a district place and trying to build a small center. No, opportunities, don't wait for the opportunity. Create opportunity. I'll tell you a few stories. Apart from mine, I had a call from a town, small town, Taluka town called Barshi in Maharashtra, Solapur district. They have one kind of rural hospital called Mama Jagdale Hospital. They have got a lot of specialties there. And they wanted to start a rural neuro center. In Nimhans, Bangalore, there was a Marathi boy from that town whose father was a primary school teacher. And he was a rank student, Miraj, Solapur, and now Nimhans, throughout rank. And he was doing his neurosurgery. And the chairman of this place asked, because I knew him well, he's a general surgeon. He said, talk to Amit, send him here. And I thought it was a very good idea and a good opportunity. And I sat down and he said, no, I want to join Fortis. Don't, I said, go there. You are already a well-pickled surgeon. You are good. Go to Barshi, start a rural neuro center. You are the boss. You are the one-man show. You can always get people to come mentor, operate with you. People will come from Bombay, Pune, Bangalore. Your teachers will come take rota and help you. This guy within 2 years built such a brilliant rural neuro center there that now he's sucking patients from Pune, sucking patients from Solapur because he is doing more awake brain tumor surgery than we do in Fortis, Bangalore. And so opportunity. I tell you, when I was coming to Bangalore, everybody laughed because I was a blue-eyed boy of Bombay. I had open doors in Bridge Candy, everywhere. I could go and set up my shop and I would have made a lot of money. I would have made big name, but I was very enamored that to create a center for a government of excellence in a state where there was hardly any cardiac surgery, no cardiac surgery. So in 1984, I came, I struggled hard. I never went home many days. We hardly slept because we had to guard our patients post-operatively from ignorance of others. But to cut the story short, what happened? I came to work in Victoria Hospital. Everybody laughed at me in Bombay. They said, doors are open for 12 months. You will come back and you can join here. No, I never went back. Look where Jayadeva Institute has gone today. The best. It has beaten my own alma mater, KM. So after that, I thought that quality after red line cannot exist in government. I have to create a private center. We created Wokhart. Wokhart was what? 3 floors of a office complex. ANZ, Malya, Mohan McKeans, all big people, they had offices there. And below 3 floors, we created Wokhart Heart Institute. We're doing open heart surgery. Everybody laughed. Go, Manipal is being built. I said, no, I have brilliant guys here who know business and I'm not interested in megalomaniacs. We created Wokhart. We created a corporate company out of Wokhart. We got franchised by Harvard Medical International. We became Wokhart Harvard. And then the corporate company created, I became a director of that company. We created 22 hospitals because they had some money problems, they said we'll have to sell to Fortis. Even after selling to Fortis, so we're a huge company, and Fortis actually got colored in our culture because our culture was very bright. So what happened? That thing looked like a no opportunity, Wokhart, such a big opportunity. The Jayadeva looked like a silly opportunity, small piddly place in Victoria campus. Look, so opportunity, don't wait. Take whatever comes. God has given you, don't even know what the universe is planning for you. Work hard. Work hard, there is no substitute. And do well and train yourself. Don't compromise excellence. Then that opportunity will boom. Out of kasa, rasa will come. So this is the formula you must apply to your life. And when you want to become a good specialist, 4 C's. First C is common sense. More and more you get exposed to cases, your wisdom will grow. And when you apply your wisdom, your knowledge to your wisdom, that is common sense. Apply common sense, you will be a better diagnostician, you will be a better troubleshooter when something happens on the table. You will be a different cut person. Common sense. Don't be a theoretical bullshitter. Secondly, companionship. Remember, you are not the only guy. It's a circus. It's a teamwork. And you are an orchestra. You are a member of the orchestra. The moment you realize you are part of the team, then your growth will start. And so, what does it mean? It means in business language, I believe in win-win. Every time you are trying to do something, find out whether it is win-win for everybody. It's a win-lose. It will all go after some time and you will become piddly nobody. Guarantee. I'll guarantee you that. You may be getting less money because you have to spread the bread thin. Doesn't matter. It has to be a win-win. So second is companionship. Third is creativity. All the time think out of box, think out of box. Now, when we talk about creativity, I'll give some examples. I started my private career is one where you can experiment, you can, not in government, because government, there is too much of bureaucracy. In private, and also quality, because you will not be able to play with the patient because patient is the center chair, unlike in government. So, but if you are sure that something out of box is going to work, you can do in private. It was a 100-bedded hospital, Wokhart Hospital. In that 100-bedded hospital set in a commercial building, you know what we did? In 1991, we did India's first beating heart bypass surgery. And from there, where it went, 70% of bypass surgery of India today is a beating heart bypass surgery. We created a movement. Then in 1995, we did India's first minimally invasive bypass surgery, mid-cap. And now what happens? Today, India has got its own this Indian Society of Minimally Invasive Cardiac Surgeons. So much, it's become a movement. In 1997, I went to Paris, 28 of us, we created a new society for the world called ISMICS, International Society of Minimally Invasive Cardiac Surgeons. Today, it has got more than 5,000 members. It's a banyan tree. Every time I go for the annual conference, ISMICS, it's like a jatra. So, think out of box. Be the earliest to get into a niche area. Be one of the pioneers along with others. And that will require some amount of bravery, courage. So the fourth quality apart from creativity is courage. Courage is the basic quality that will ensure other qualities. And the courage is not lack of fear. It's bravery despite of having fear. And so courage in medicine means, oh, I'll spoil my name. Why should I take this faltu case and let it go to my opposition people? No, if you do this case, one case like that in a year, it will give you so much of name and fame. But you must have that confidence that if I don't do that, then who will do? So you must go there. So common sense, companionship, teamwork, that is companionship, teamwork, creativity, and courage. These four uh, you must inculcate. This when you talk about courage, I'll give some more examples again. I had come new to Jayadeva. Dr. Chinnaya was very popular cardiologist of Karnataka. The other cardiologists were Dr. Chandrasekhar Rao. It was the whole thing was very, very primitive. We had less machines. We had a very primitive manpower. I was on my rounds. There was a cardiology ward, male, female, cardiac surgery ward, male, female, and a common corridor. And I was in the corridor, and suddenly I heard a shout from Chinnaya's team. So I went running. All those people later on became big people. The Chinyas team was trying to massage a lady. She was a Tamilian lady. She was in a full-term pregnancy and she had a tight mitral stenosis and she had fibrillated. Once a mitral stenosis fibrillates, you cannot revive these patients unless the valve is open. Otherwise, they're dead. Leave it. Now, how do you do that? She's on the bed. Now, I didn't even think twice. I was well trained. I knew unless that valve is open, otherwise she's dead. She's anyway dead. Okay, people will laugh at me. It doesn't matter what happens to me. Who will think they know I'm a good surgeon? So we took the barber's razor blade with which we used to shave patient for preparation for cardiac cath, etc. And we told one guy to run to the OT, get the sister, get the bin of all the instruments. Till then, I had one favorite ward boy who was with me on the rounds. That guy, no talking because he was so used to everything. We didn't even paint. We just took the blade and did a thoracotomy, large thoracotomy. And we just cut. We entered the thorax. This guy, I told him, and with hands, he pulled the ribs apart. And we put the hand with the scissor that was available there for plaster. We cut the pericardium open by the time the bin came. And then there was a turgid appendage. We put the side clamp on the appendage. We opened the appendage, just put the finger in. When you put the finger in, bleeding stops. And that edematous valve, though it is tightly stenosed, you just put your finger like that, the valve opens. We put the clamp, took out, just poured a bottle of betadine on the whole thing. We took her back to the OT. She had already intubated by my anesthetist. They gave 300 cc of soda backup, so all the lactates were washed out. The acidity was neutralized. The fluid was running. And then aram se we went in. We did a proper valvotomy. She was 7 days tracheostomy and ventilator, but she became all right. And that baby, we were amazed. Pushpa Srinivas was the head of the department of Anibilas. Her team came. One of the teammates now is grown older, senior gynecologist who practices with me in 40s. That lady delivered that baby. The baby did not die. Lady did not die. And that lady is still, following up with me in private. I don't charge her. She comes to private and follows up with me. But I'm talking about courage. There was another case I remember was a lady. This was in the 80s. She came to me full term. She was in pulmonary edema. She had a MSMR. Now, pulmonary edema, MSMR, in the world literature, there was no such thing that the full-term lady is there and you do an open heart surgery because she will not survive otherwise that. And then the only way was to let that fetus be killed, even abort it or go inside and take it out and let it die. We sat down. We said, why? Why should that child die? We are going to go on heart-lung machine and this lady has to survive. So we wheeled her in. We got our gynecologist. That gynecologist was very scared. I said, you don't worry. If you want, we will not even put your name there. And we took her. She started off with the abdomen. By the time we opened the chest, we put the cannulas. We gave the heparin. Before we gave heparin, this guy was a fast, good surgeon. He went in, opened the uterus, got the baby out. Baby was needing a neonatologist. We had already got it from the neonatology guy was standing there. He took the baby. He revived the baby. Baby became all right. And we put the green Armitage forceps on the uterine incision, put a hot mop inside because when we give heparin, it will start bleeding like anything. And we just kept somebody's hand pressed there. We went ahead, boom, 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 and we did the mitral valve replacement on heart-lung machine. And we came back. The heart recovered well. Then once the heparin was reversed, the protamine was given, clotting had started, we saw that there was no bleeding from uterus, closed the uterus, we closed everything. You know, that baby survived, that women survived. 25, many years later, we were celebrating the 25th silver jubilee of this Gokhat Hospital on Cunningham Road. Then my communication team tracked this baby because that time this was world's first. There was no precedence. And we had shown the courage unconsciously because we just wanted to both of them to survive. And then next year, 2-3 years later on, a friend of mine from South America, the Latin America, wrote an audit of a paper across the globe. He did an inquiry and he collected in next 3-4 years 67 cases across the globe. And in surgery, gynecology, obstetrics, a paper was published on open heart surgery in pregnancy. And this paper really was staring because this was only emergency surgery. And 25th year later, we tracked the mother and the child back. This mother was so emotional that she named that baby as Vivek. And this Vivek and the mother, we called him as one of the guests for this Silver Jubilee function. So I'm talking about courage. And that will make you do things which will be remembered for years. So remember the 4th C. Then I told you about the red and blue ocean. Think out of box, get into a niche area that will give you a good life. And these green technologies, I'm again coming back to it, be watchful, look around you. Lot of next 5 years, you will see there will be an explosion. Nobody's talking about nanotechnology today, automation today, artificial intelligence today. See what will happen to medicine. See how robotics will change to smaller robots. And then you will have tele-robotics. You may be sitting in Banagata Road, operating in Cunningham Road, stuff like that. A lot of things will happen and you must be there. Look at those brave guys in Bangalore who are doing so many. You come to my hospital, you will see every day 3 or 4 robotic surgeries going on. Just a couple of 3-4 years back, everybody is laughing at buying robot, 16 crore rupees. But look how much that OT is making money. And there is Sandeep, there is our Mohan, urology, gynecology, the oncology. Every day, at least 4 robotic surgeries happen. This will become like a child's play after 5 years. Something very different will be happening. Transplants, pediatric transplant, heart transplant, nobody thought some time back happening. So be very fluid, be very adaptive, and don't do the same thing next year. World is changing too fast, and you should be also like that. And if you do that, God only knows where you will go. Find your focus, work hard, don't run behind money now. Money will be the complication tomorrow. Guarantee, I will give you the guarantee. Name will be complication, money will be complication. So I wish you all the best. Do well in your life. Don't compromise on hard work. Your intelligence is not a substitute for hard work. And my blessing to you all is, may you all live in interesting times. Thank you very much. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you, sir. You rightly said, talent may get us to the top, but it takes character to keep us there. And sir, you took us to the future world where we'll be surrounded with technology like artificial intelligence, advanced equipments, media, law, and how we should adapt and improvise ourselves. Sir, thank you for enlightening us, and we are grateful to you for the time you spent with us in spite of your busy schedule. Thank you. Thank you all the audience. High tea has been arranged at the backstage of this auditorium.